Today on Locked On Rockies, two Rockies face off in the WBC. And of course, the commentator's curse strikes again.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 17th day of March in the year 2026. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here. Free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Today, we're going to talk about Michael Lorenzen and Ezequiel Tovar facing off in the World Baseball Classic. And, of course, me opening my big old mouth and commentator cursing both of the players there in their next appearances in the tournament. But still, a big, important game there. Plus, couple of reports suggesting that Charlie Condon not making the team out of spring training. That's not a bad thing, but I want to dive into a couple of these pieces explaining what might be the case for first base for the Rockies. Plus, the new buzzword for the Rockies, elevate. Warren Schaefer talks about that. We'll dive into that here coming up all on today's show. Before we do that, got a couple of other things to let you know about, including this episode is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/locked on and use code locked on to unlock a pair back for use, I should say, in Diamond Dynasty. It is opening day of the show. It's available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. I am Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, as I have for 6 seasons now. That's hundreds of episodes with you, the Rockies fans, going through the ups, the downs, and everything in between when it comes to Rockies baseball. So, World Baseball Classic, I spend a whole episode hyping up Ezequiel Tovar and getting all pumped up. And then, unfortunately, he goes over in the semifinal. And I spent an episode talking about Michael Lorenzen's big start against Team USA. And then he gives up 3 straight runs on 4 straight hits in the semifinal. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. But I think my main takeaway, and I'll start with Lorenzen, is as much as I highlighted the fact, the positives, the pros, hey, this is the type of stuff that you get with a guy like Lorenzen. You're also going to get moments like this. You're going to get moments where his stuff isn't working. He's not hitting the velocity, and he was still pumping like mid-90s in this game, still using a variety of pitch mixes, but people were just locked on. They were just they were able to hit. They were hitting what he was throwing. They were being aggressive in that series and jumping on it. And I think that's just as we're going to see Lorenzen get in a nice groove and have some moments where he's able to rely on his experience and his and his talents and the pitch mix to turn in some impressive performances. You're going to see stuff like this too. The Rockies play a lot of talented lineups. The Rockies are going to be playing against guys that are going to make him work, are going to wait for their pitch, and they're going to be aggressive at the same time. We saw a couple of at-bats go pretty deep for Lorenzen, and then we saw guys after things, you felt the momentum really start shifting, start jumping on it and being aggressive and going after it there. And so that's okay. Where the expectations, as we've said for Lorenzen, aren't going to be Cy Young, but it's just get to the 6th without allowing 5 runs. It's going to be some damage along the way. There's going to be some moments where because it got a little. It was 3 runs, but if you have 3 runs in a traditional start, you should be able. Ideally, if the offense is in a good spot, are able to bounce back. This is this is a high leverage. This is a big tournament late, and Lorenzen came in relief in this game too, and was cruising for a little bit there until it just the one stretch they got to him there. So I'm not. It's not me pumping the brakes and going super worried mode, but I think that's just the reality of what we're going to get from Lorenzen here. some great starts. Then there's going to be some times where he gets tagged in between. And as long as the good starts and the starts that keep the Rockies in ball games are more often than the times where teams are able to figure them out, the Rockies will be in a good spot. And as for Ezequiel Tovar, it's a shame. It's an 0 for 4 day, but luckily he didn't need to be the one that to help his squad get ready for the next round here. As I guess I'm watching it live here. As of now, they have not punched their ticket yet. But I just thought it was pretty funny that right as I'm spending a whole episode, a whole day basically hyping up Ezequiel Tovar, it just he ends up going over, as if that's just not a classic commentator curse. But some of the stuff that from the game here that I didn't like to see from Tovar was I think he was pressing a bit in this one. I think he got it. I think why he went over in this game is a little bit of sometimes I think he can be a type of guy that will try to do too much. And some of the swings were just a little too aggressive, especially early in counts. He didn't need to be. I think he could have been able to work work a little bit more on watching the ball in there, being disciplined, as we had seen throughout a good chunk of the tournament. Mentioned in the show, still 3 strikeouts in that time, and he did have a strikeout in the semifinal here. Did face off, I believe, against Lorenzen as well in that, but didn't pick up a hit or anything off of him. So actually, no, I don't. I think Lorenzen was. I think he got one at bat against him, I believe. But that's also just baseball, right? It's just a moment in a situation in which, hey, you go on a good stretch someday, and then some days it's going to go over. But for him, I don't think he's going to mind all too much here, as his team just punched their ticket to the World Baseball Classic Finals, and the celebration is on. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good final. As if you've been listening to the show, I've really been enjoying the tournament. I just think it's so great to see this level of baseball, this level of just, I mean, the amount of emotion that's being shown here. I mean, this is a massive deal. And like we talked about on Monday's episode, for every Rockies player that was in the WBC, this was the most significant baseball that you're going to be playing this year. Obviously, there's guys that want to be playing well and making their case for another contract or a starting spot. There's a million of different types of storylines here. But in terms of the actual stakes of it all, it isn't going to get much bigger than this. And I think, like I talked about with Tovar, I think it's just this experience is going to be something that's going to help inspire him to be able to take it to that next level of being that leader, being the guy that people turn to in the locker room, and showing how to demonstrate it on and off the field. Because when you're looking at the names on this team for Team Venezuela, and especially when you're talking about the people that are also involved in the coaching staff of this team, these are some people that not only had successful careers, but long successful careers, legendary careers. To be able to talk to and learn from Salvi Perez is amazing. To have Yadi in your dugout, right? I mean, I know it's not your position, but you're talking about guys that are just so big and have been so successful with the game, mixed in with all the other guys that you share the field with, the ones that are actually on the field there. So it's just a huge moment and a huge opportunity here to just, I think, really be able to just learn. I think Tovar, I really would be curious to hear what this experience will be like for him now, as his team's going all the way, and he's been the starting shortstop, batting 5th in the lineup. He's been playing. It's not like he has been swapped out. This team turned to him in this situation, and he's performed out. We mentioned not a big day in the semifinal, but he's been the guy that the team has turned to, and this team has made a run and hasn't given up. I hope that I really hope that for the guys that played in the WBC and especially the guys that have found success in the WBC, it gives them that little bit of jolt of energy, a little bit I'm hoping it's a kickstart to the season instead of one where they I hate to be too cliche, but like a false start type of thing where it's like, oh, we had the World Baseball Classic, and now it's like, all right, we got to just go through the last little bit of spring training, and then we got to really get going. I think that I hope that the lessons and just the performances that some Rockies players put in the tournament, mixed with the new atmosphere of Rockies spring training, hopefully that's something that's building the energy and building a wave of momentum into the start of the regular season. But man, I'm just still watching here. The dugout is dancing. Everyone's having a great time. I mean, I just have been this tournament is just a highlight of just how cool baseball is. When baseball can just be itself and you let the other areas just let it and the game can just shine, man, it's awesome. And I know there was controversy. I mean, man, that call at the end of the Dominican Republic USA game is obviously going to be the big talking point there. But it has just been so awesome to see. It's just like I said, I think if you're a baseball fan, how can you not love what you've been seeing and the experience here for the World Baseball Classic? I know the Team Dominican Republic fans are definitely going to be upset about that, rightfully so. But remember, one call is not the only thing that happens in a baseball game. A lot happens in the ball game there. But so what did you think about the Rockies in the World Baseball Classic? What do you think about the final matchup? Let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section. Coming up next here, let's talk about Charlie Condon here, one of the big names of camp. As now I'm reading two things suggesting that he is not going to break camp with the team, but that's not a bad thing. We'll talk about that coming up next. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes MLB The Show 26. It's opening day for MLB 26, the MLB The Show 26, as it is available now, and that means you can take the Colorado Rockies to the World Series in franchise mode. You can hop online and take on the competition and prove that you are the best at the sticks. And I hope you do it with the Rockies too. Prove them wrong. Say that you can take that roster to the competitive online world and be successful with it. Or you can play my favorite feature and the feature that I just started in my experience with MLB The Show 26, Road to the Show. It's my favorite way to play the game because I like putting myself in the shoes of my character there and working my way up through college, up through the minor leagues, and then making my debut at the big level and helping the Rockies win the championship. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new, exciting way, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Plays your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/locked-on and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection is required. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. We're also brought to you by Gametime. Gametime's got you covered when you need your tickets, and MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and the first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or a division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem, getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, price jumping at checkout. That's where there's Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. So every time I've used Gametime, I'm completely confident because I know the tickets are authentic. I know what I'm paying because the fees are up front. And then they give me the panoramic seat view so I know exactly where I'm sitting. You can't ask for more information when you're buying your tickets. The price, where you're sitting, and what the seats look like. You can't get any better. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats in minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Back with you all here for segment number 2 of Locked On Rockies. Going to talk about Charlie Condon here in just a moment. But a reminder, folks, you want ad-free audio? You want access to the Everydayer Club Discord server? Of course you do. Join the Everydayer Club now with code MARCH and get your first month free. If you sign up before the NCAA tournament tips off this Thursday, you can compete against me in our men's and women's bracket pools on Discord. The winner in each will get $100 in Locked On merch. The rest of us can commiserate in the members-only chats as our brackets blow up. And as a member of the club, you get an ad-free version of this show. Again, it's all free for a month with code LOCKEDONRockies.supercast.com. LockedOnRockies.supercast.com. Use that code MARCH for that free month. All right. So I saw a couple of things. I saw a headline here at the Denver Post, and I said, that seems a little bit newsworthy for me here. Rockies Charlie Condon flashes star power, but debut not imminent, says Patrick Saunders here. And let's read from the Denver Post. Star power. The Rockies need it. Charlie Condon looks like he has it. The club's number 2 prospect is having a splendid spring. The 23-year-old entered the weekend slashing .414, .471, .828 with a 1.299 OPS with 3 home runs and 3 doubles in 15 games. His strikeout rate was just 17.6%, 6 strikeouts and 34 plate appearances. But that doesn't mean Condon has kicked down the big league door to the majors. Not yet. The first baseman is unlikely to break camp with the Rockies because the club wants to ensure he has a solid foundation across all areas of his game. Saunders adds this here. Still, I would not be surprised if Condon is playing in the majors before the All-Star break. But if they wait until August and he stays with the team for the rest of the season, the club doesn't waste one of his minor league options. Regardless, the 3rd overall pick in the 2024 draft isn't shy about his aspirations for 2026. I think about that a lot, Condon said early in spring training when Saunders asked him about debuting this season. But it's not what I'm worried about. It's not what I'm playing for. I'm trying to play the best baseball I can. The Rockies want to see several things from Condon this spring, especially his ability to consistently hit major league fastballs. So far, at least he's passed that test. So here's the thing that one of the things that I took away from this, and the thing that is just one of the tough parts about navigating a player like Charlie Condon in a season like the Rockies are most likely going to have. I get not wanting to waste the option. I get waiting until August. But at a certain point, if first base isn't going well, it's got to be TJ Rumfield's spot. I mean, I can't imagine the Rockies are going to go in a different direction, at least when it comes to the starter. I think TJ Rumfield, trading for him and then the spring that he's been having, it seems like this is his moment right here for him to take over and take the job. Let's see. Currently in spring training for Rumfield, .333 batting average of .432 OPS, a slugging of .667, 1 strikeout in 44 plate appearances, 12 hits, 10 RBI, 4 home runs in that time, and 5 walks. So that's pretty darn good spring there and a pretty good tone setter there. So I can't imagine the Rockies would be going in a different direction. And for Charlie, as he mentions, this isn't that crazy, right? There are still things for him to check off. I like the fact that they're still trying to make sure that he's got a good grip at every level. This is just the encouraging news of Charlie Condon continues. The trend of that we've seen Charlie Condon after that injury and the slow return from the injury now, at least and recently, has been going in the right direction. It's just, is it worth waiting that long? If Condon is mashing at the minor league level, if the Rockies are middling, and maybe you're looking at a situation towards the trade deadline where you make a move that opens up your DH spot, or Are you going to play him in the outfield? Do you want to see if you want to give him a test drive in the outfield at Coors Field? That might be, it depends on how much outfield and experience he's getting at the minor league level. But if Rumfield isn't, and I don't want to jinx anything there, but if you're not seeing a performance at first base that makes you sit there and say, hey, if we do call him up, we can't take the hottest bat out of the lineup, right? So it'll be interesting, but I do think it does make sense for, if he's not going to make the team, to see what the Rockies look like post-trade deadline. And in reality too, the thing that unfortunately is the thing you always have to keep in mind, and I say unfortunately because it's injuries. You never know what's going to happen when it comes to injuries and things like that too. So that might be a situation that gets Charlie some major league action sooner, before August. So I don't disagree with hesitating here with Charlie Condon. I just get worried that if you just kick the can down the road, what if you're just in a situation where he's saying, what are we waiting for? What else do I have to do? It's been a couple of strong months, because if he does, it's to go up and down to not let him get, consistent playing time and things like that. That would be a huge problem with him. He needs to be playing. He needs to be playing consistently. So that might set you up for August there. But I think the trade deadline might open up some, if the Rockies are active and move some pieces, depending on where they're at, that might open a couple of opportunities for him. Outfield, DH, first base, who knows? Let's see here. I saw also over here, same type of thing from Courtney Holman on MLB.com here. With confidence on the rise, Condon ready to make case for call up here. This was a name I hadn't recognized, so it was good to read some new voices here. With the Rockies roster currently, while the Rockies roster currently features potential openings at the corners, the path for Condon is further complicated by fellow riser TJ Rumfield, who's having a strong spring and is also vying for a spot at first base. But it's Condon's ability to move between the corner infield and the outfield that could help make a strong case for a midseason call-up. After splitting 2025 between high A and double A, Condon has adjusted quickly to major league pitching this spring, evidenced by a sharp RBI double against the Mariners. And Condon has this to say about his focus here. This is what the piece says. But for Condon, the physical results are secondary to a shift in his mental approach. I'd say more confidence, Condon said of his mindset since the start of camp. The more success you have at the higher levels, the more confident you're going to be. Just feeling within myself, knowing that I belong wherever I'm at and I can compete with anybody. And then, so yeah, it's talking about the spring breakout game, which is coming up this weekend. It'll be fun, Condon said. That's always a fun event to play against other organizations' top young talent. Also to be chosen to represent our organization, the Colorado Rockies. It's an honor. So yeah, it's great to see there. I mean, again, I'm not worried. I don't think it's a mistake for things for the Rockies to pump the brakes here, especially when you're having TJ Rumfield give you the performance in spring that you wanted. I just hope that it is sooner rather than later. But Saunders makes a great point here in his piece that I want to finish up this segment on here. The Rockies front office, like many front offices past and present, is hesitant to throw a player into the fire too soon. The road to hell is paved with rushed prospects. That's because baseball is filled with false springs. Young hitters blossom when they face big league pitchers who are still working on their changeup or saving their gas for the regular season. Prospects rake against minor league pitchers who leave sliders hovering over the heart of the plate. But often, promoted prospects fade under the majors' harsh spotlight. Jackson Holliday, the oldest son of former Rocky star Matt Holliday, is a prime example. In April 2024, Jackson made his debut at the tender age of 20, but spent just 16 days with the Orioles before being shipped down to AAA Norfolk. Jackson hit 2 for 34 over his first 10 games for Baltimore. Saunders points out the exceptions to the rule, including Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story here. And then This is a good thing here, though, too. A good reminder as this piece, I really recommend you go read it because it dives into comparing Story to Condon in the Springs here. But here's just a good little nugget at the end here. I'm not predicting that Condon is the next Arenado or the next Story. Arenado played 432 games in the minors before his debut. Story played 537. But Condon has similar star potential. And remember, he was a great player at the University of Georgia. That's a big deal. Saunders says, I'm eager to watch him rake at Coors Field. If we don't see that until June, July, or even August, I'm fine with that. It will be up to Condon to prove there's nothing false about his spring. And Saunders says he's confident that that's going to happen. I'd love to see that happen. That would be great. All right, let's take a break and wrap up this show. All coming up next here on Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can take part live in a market powered by people. You are no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission, merchant, and swap firm. We are also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel's got you covered here as this is a big month for the action on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, which is super easy to use and secure for you. College basketball is nonstop. We got the big dance. It's here. We got the play-in games. We got the bracket action as it's one of the best weekends on the sports calendar this weekend here and later this week with all the tournament fun going on. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings, every single game from early tip-offs to late night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board, and now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. Maybe you think Vanderbilt is going to ride that momentum of upsetting Florida all the way to the title, or your alma mater has been on a roll and you're going to ride with the team that you've been balling with all season long. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your ticket. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Back at it here for segment number 3 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. I'll kind of just start in on this conversation here, but we'll have to dive into it a little bit more as we continue to get some buzzwords and things that are good things, good sounding things on paper, stuff that is nice to hear and encouraging, but it really continues to see the commitment of Warren Schaefer doing things his way, really buckling and tripling down on his approach, his philosophy, and what he believes has been missing from this club, and the expectations that he is asking for his players here. And that's when it comes to the word elevate. And this is from the Thomas Harding newsletter that Manny Randall was filling in on here. So Schaefer, not a big fan of the word vibes, saying, well, with vibes, it seems like you're going to go sit on a beach in San Diego. And so he talks about some of the changes here, but on his shirt, there's he was wearing a shirt that says the word elevate. And this is what he said about it. The atmosphere here is one of trying to push things forward, Schaefer said, and you can feel it when you walk into the building. People are here to work, to get better in a fun atmosphere, just a place where you want to go to work. That's the way I feel, and I want everybody to feel that way when they come in this building. I want them to feel energized to come to work and get better to push toward the common goal. Elevate didn't come out of nowhere, and it's not merely a play on the altitude in Denver that looks good on a T-shirt. It's become a cohesive term that has a lot of intention behind it as the Rockies begin to build a new identity. I know a lot of people think that our job is the baseball game, Schaefer said, but there are countless hours spent on important things behind the scene, and this is the driving factor. It's a daily reminder of what we're here to do. We're here to elevate everything we do, and that's our standard. What do you think of elevate? What do you think of Schaefer's mentality here and all the stuff that he's talked about and all the talks of culture and atmosphere at camp? Let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section, and we'll react to it on the show tomorrow as we dive into this topic more as well. Folks, that's going to do it for us here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB and the Back to the Bullpen podcast, also available on Locked On MLB feeds. Plus, we got you covered with Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs, all free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.